Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Drumr828. I have a special guest here that I'm going to be talking to a little bit concerning some of the issues that I've brought up recently with Mundane Matt. I'd like everybody to meet Declan Reed. Declan, how you doing? Thanks for coming and talking to me today.
Oh, absolutely. It's a pleasure of mine. Hey, everybody, how's it going? And I look forward to exposing Mundane Matt more for the absolute cuck that he is, and I'm happy to have a platform through which to do it.
Hey, glad to have you here, man. This is something that I really feel should be talked about more. Exactly what Mundane Matt has done when in concerns with Mike here. So why don't you fill me in? You've actually talked to Mike, and this was before or after seeing my interview with Mike, in which Mike talked about being upset with Matt calling him a Valor thief and bringing up his injury in boot camp, smearing him for his injury, saying, oh, now he's just sucking the tea to the government and he just lives at his in-laws' house and I've never seen somebody just so willingly trash what I can only see as a good person. So when you started talking to Mike, was that before or after the interview that I did with Mike?
It was actually because of your interview that I reached out to Mike. I've been following your content for some time. By the way, not to be the complete clout-chasing ass-kisser, but one of the reasons I started following you was because of your appearance on the Ralph Retort, where you tore into the quartering for being the pathetic fucking snake that he is. And
yes.
So I wound up, getting into your content, and I've been following the Mundane Matt shit for a while, especially after the fallout that he had on the kill stream, talking about I've never flagged Dame Pesos, I never did this, I never did that, and after an hour of feeding us line after line of absolute bullshit, he was exposed for being a liar. So I stumbled upon the fact that you had done something with one of Matt's former friends, and I heard everything that went on in relation to that.
And my favorite thing is I looked at the video description and it was all like, please go subs to this guy on Twitch. His name is Mike, the guy that he talked to. Because he's like a fucking war hero. He's a veteran, right? And I'm just laughing my goddamn ass off. Mike never completed basic training. Mike got injured in basic training, got a medical discharge, used that and the GI Bill to go to community college to get multiple degrees, to do nothing with it, to end up having to go live in Las Vegas with his wife's parents for years. And the only reason why he was butthurt about everything was because all of us moved to Los Angeles to pursue our careers, and he stayed behind because he had nothing.
But fucking Matt, if you ever want to get on the air sometime with me, go one-on-one and talk your shit, I'll bring it, dude. I ain't afraid of anything you got to say because everything I've done in my life has been honorable.
And I just felt this compulsion to reach out to Mike and let him know, hey, there are veterans out there that support you. I was in the United States Navy for 3 years. I was also medically separated, so I know what it's like to want to do a 20-year service or a 30-year service and then have that kind of stripped away from you. It's kind of a false equivalency only insofar as the fact that I was able to serve 3 years and he got injured in boot. Yeah. But I wanted to reach out to him and say, hey, look, you're not alone. People understand what you're going through. Thank you for your service. Even though you didn't get to do what you wanted to do, you still signed your life away. You still answered the call, took that oath to protect the Constitution from enemies both foreign and domestic. And you understood what that meant when you stood up and you took that oath. And when I heard that Matt had gone on this fucking 20-minute diatribe on how this is someone who's committing stolen valor and mocking the fact that he was put in a financial situation wherein he had to live with his in-laws, I'm like, what a disingenuous little fuck.
Yep.
And I've got to say something about it. I'm a nobody. I've got fucking 70 followers on Twitter. He's not going to respond to me. And lo and behold, he responded to me. So the second that happened, I was like, oh, bitch, it's go time. Like, yeah. Yes, my dreams have been answered.
You actually
down 2 to go.
You actually sent me that conversation, and I'll go ahead and for anyone watching the video, I'll go ahead and throw those up on screen. The main thing that I keep getting from Matt that I realize is his biggest, I guess, and I don't even think it's an accident. I think this is a psychological thing that he has to do in order to at least protect himself in his own mind, where he ignores intention completely. When he said his defense for the flagging stuff was, oh yeah, I flag things, but I flag videos. I'm sure you're aware of that. That's what got all of the hatred for Matt started. He was going around false flagging videos.
Oh yeah.
So his defense in that was, well, no one actually got removed. It didn't do any damage. There was even though that's not true, but that was still his defense was no videos actually got taken down. Like I said, that wasn't true, but that was his defense. And he seems to not understand that intention played a big role in why everybody's mad at him and hates him, is because he had every intent of removing content and injuring people's, YouTube channels and stuff like that. So when it comes to Mike, I see the same overlooking of intention. Mike had every intention of serving. He went through every step. This guy was an honorable person who wanted to serve his country, and in a tragedy happened. And that tragedy, I mean, it wasn't like he sprained his ankle or something. The dude broke his neck. He broke his back. And it's affecting him, and it will affect him for the rest of his life. He's had an insane amount of health issues because of these injuries. And for Matt, the scumbag loser who does nothing but sit on the internet and just read to people news articles. I don't even know what he's doing anymore. I know that's what he used to do. If he's still doing that, I'd be shocked. But I don't know. Nothing Matt does shocks me anymore. He's just such a low caliber of human being. It's amazing. So what did you get out of your confrontation with Matt?
Well, a lot of it I got was confirmation of stuff that you just mentioned, that this is a man that does not understand the nuances of social interaction, that intention does matter. And you would think for someone who proclaims himself to be not only the most red-pilled motherfucker on the internet, but also someone who proclaims himself to be someone of well above average intellect. He stated so many times that he is, more intelligent than the average bear, so to speak. Would he not realize that there is a reason why crimes like attempted murder exist?
Yeah.
You can't go before a judge and be like, but Your Honor, I wasn't successful, so why am I being charged? It's the same thing with flagging the videos. They didn't went down, so why are people looking at me like I'm a fucking scumbag? Well, they're looking at you like a scumbag because you tried to take them down.
Beautifully put.
Yeah, just because you failed at doing so, just like you fail at everything else in your miserable life, doesn't mean that people aren't going to look at you like a shitbag. And it's the same thing when he tore into Mike. Mike wanted to do this, but since he didn't get to do this, therefore he's not honorable. No, it doesn't remove the honorable intention that Mike had to serve. What it does is just say that he was presented with an unfortunate circumstance wherein he couldn't fulfill his duties to serve. That doesn't take the honor out of the man, just like the boulder doesn't take the bitch out of the boy. And he doesn't realize that. And so the interaction with him really boils down to me extending an offer, which was in good faith, to debate him about any topic of his choice on any channel of his choice. Had he wound up responding to me in DMs, I would have said, look, I'm not some clout chaser. You can block my name. I don't need plugs. I don't need anything. I just want to debate you because I want to see how you react on your toes without help, without anything that gives you any semblance of an advantage. And I want you to talk to an actual veteran and find out what that veteran says about the situation.
Yeah, that's a big reason why I wanted to actually get this interview with you, because I've had plenty of veterans leave comments in the interview I did with Mike in support of Mike, taking Mike as serious as he should be taken when it comes to these injuries, and they've got nothing but love and respect for the guy. The one thing I needed though, I really wanted to have a voice for, people The voice of someone who is an undeniable veteran, because that's where there seemed to be some kind of debate. Matt calling Mike a VALOR thief and all of that stuff, just because, you know, he had this injury and wasn't able to complete basic training. What I found interesting was the response from veterans on that video. That all came out, and there was no, at least I didn't see, there was no debate going on whether or not Mike should be able to call himself a veteran. The only thing that I saw from veterans in the comment section were love and support for Mike and absolute hatred for Mundane Matt. And I'm glad you hit me up, because I really wanted to get somebody, I wanted to get somebody's voice. I wanted to actually hear them say this, and I appreciate you for hitting me up for this. This is cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure. I take it kind of personally, because having been in for 3 years. Just to give people a very quick background, I was what they call a nuke in the United States Navy. We are the nerdiest of the fucking nerdiest. We are the most book smart people you can possibly imagine, but we have zero common sense. We can barely tie our own shoes. But we're the people that make aircraft carriers and submarines get to their destination, because nuclear physics is fun.
Oh, damn.
And that's what we do. That's our job. And when I got out of the military, there were no nuclear jobs, because we haven't built a new reactor in 30 years. And I decided to take just that applicable knowledge of troubleshooting on a mechanical and electrical level and take it to the biomed field. So I worked in children's hospitals, and I worked in VAs. And when I worked in VAs, there were plenty of people there, and I explained this to Matt as well, that were people that had injuries from boot camp. They didn't make it through. But the V in fucking VA stands for veteran. So why are they there getting health care if they are not perceived in the eyes of the law to be veterans, whether or not they graduated boot camp? And he didn't seem to understand that. His only retort was, well, my daddy served for 7.5 weeks in boot camp, and then he got a hip injury, and he says he's not a veteran, so none of them are veterans.
I'm shocked Matt even has a father figure.
Said that. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, sperm donor maybe. Being a father figure is usually when you have a father figure, they beat into your ass a little bit of respect and a sense of masculinity.
Yeah, that's
no sort of mind's ever gonna fucking drink soy. So.
Yeah, Matt's lacking in the masculinity department, that's for sure.
The testosterone department, that is for damn sure. And I just found it remarkable that he didn't understand that there is a difference between what his anecdotal perception of a veteran is and what veterans perceive a veteran to be. If Mike had gone around, and I'll be perfectly honest with you on this, if Mike had gone around to some veteran bar and was drinking, telling stories, yeah, I'm a veteran, and then someone asked him, like, oh, where did you serve? What was your campaign? And he's like, I got injured in boot. Yeah, he'd get the fucking dead eye real quick.
Yeah.
But that's not what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's saying that he wanted and that he just couldn't.
Yeah, I feel partly responsible for that. The thing is, Mike never even brought that up when I talked to him. The only thing he never even said the word veteran. When Mike talked to me, he was talking about his injuries, and he said, yeah, I was injured in the Army, and kept going with this conversation. That little bit stuck in my head, and I just took it as, oh, he was injured in the Army, okay, well, he's a veteran and blah blah blah. But he never made the claim. I want to say that he's not running around waving a flag saying feel sorry for me or give me money. He's not asking or looking for anything. It was him talking to me in a story, and I happened to put that as a comment under the first interview saying, hey, go support Mike, go show him some love for doing this interview. He's a U.S. vet, and here's his Twitch. And Matt had a big problem with that, and that's where Matt came out with the VALOR THEIF thing, and this whole debate on whether or not you could call him a veteran or not started. And it wasn't even Mike that initiated all that. It was me, and I felt that's kind of why I'm holding on to this topic and focusing on it, because I feel partly responsible for sending some grief Mike's way, and of all people, that's the last person I want to. I'll
tell you this right now, man. You shouldn't feel remotely responsible. I'll tell you why. Because you cannot be responsible for the venom that someone else holds in their heart. You were absolutely right from a legal standpoint to call him a veteran, because that's what he is in the eyes of the law, whether he served 1 day or 1,000 days. That's what he is. And Matt will never know the type of courage and strength, both inward and outward, that it takes to know that you are ostensibly signing your life away and still answering the call and saying, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to answer the call. I'm going to serve, and I'm going to serve my nation proudly and to whatever capacity that I can. I've spoken to Mike a couple of times, perhaps not as often as I would like to, since this whole thing went down. But I'll tell you this, the perception that I've received from him is that he is a man of honor and integrity and of immeasurable strength, someone that has been through an absolute shit show in life and still pushes forward. He is the type of person that absolutely would have succeeded in the military for a long-term career and probably would have gone a long way. But you can't hold yourself responsible, man, for the venom that someone else holds in their heart, especially someone like Mundane Matt, because all he's ever going to do is look at what he doesn't have and then denigrate it to a level where he feels comfortable going, well, it's no more than what I have.
No, you got a point. I still feel bad, though.
I understand it. I understand it, but I mean, you shouldn't, because you can't control the actions of a fucking crazy person no more than the medication that he should be taking but doesn't.
Yeah, well, I appreciate I appreciate the support there when it comes to that. I just feel like man, the Mundane Matt, the depths that he will stoop to try to save his own ass. He definitely showed how low he'd go, to the point where he's gonna just outright slander somebody who tried to protect the country. I mean, good God. I'm not saying, look, and I'm not under any illusion that just because you join the military that you're automatically a saint. There are different people within the military, but I can't help but have an automatic respect when I know what it takes just to get there. Before you even go to boot camp, it's an entire mental process of you're signing your life over. You're dedicating your life to defending the United States, and that is an admirable thing to do. And for somebody like Mundane Matt, a fat loser on YouTube with a dead channel, to try to put himself above someone who was injured attempting to serve this country is absolutely despicable.
It's miserable. Just miserable.
Hell yeah. Well,
Miserable.
I'll tell you what, man. Is there anything that you think that we may have kind of glossed over that you want to focus on?
Not particularly. I think that this is one of those situations wherein it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Like, he responded to a tweet that I made. It was meant in good faith. I really did just want to debate him. And the only thing that I would want to particularly cover, I know that you're showing your audience the pictures, is the lack of self-awareness from Matt towards the end when he says, if you want to defend a serial liar, the amount of irony there is fucking palpable, and it is delicious. For someone like Mundane Matt, I swear to God, hand to God, I was out at the quarry claiming my quarry throne, and I didn't do anything. I didn't do nothing. I'm a good boy. And for him to a month later say, oh yeah, by the way, my former friend here is a serial liar. Mm-hmm. Those things don't quite mesh. Even let's just take, for the sake of argument, playing devil's advocate, let's take Mundane Matt at face value. Let's say that Mike is a serial liar. Now, I've spoken to him a good deal, again, not as much as I would like to, but that is not the vibe that I get from him whatsoever. But just for Fantasyland with unicorns and rainbow farts, let's imagine that Mundane Matt is telling the truth and that Mike is a serial liar. That doesn't exonerate Matt from being a serial liar.
Yeah.
So you would still want to fucking check yourself and be like, you know, maybe right now is not the best time for me to be calling someone else out on their shit. I mean, that's like Jeffrey Dahmer going to Ted Bundy and being like, whoa, buddy.
Yeah, here in the South, we got a little saying called, that's the pot calling the kettle black. I don't know if you've heard that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in South Carolina for 2 years. That was one of the places I was stationed. So, yeah, exactly. It's just, you don't do that. Like, maybe it's not the best time right now for me to just say shit like someone else is a serial liar, because I'm still knee-deep in the shit for being a serial liar. And that, I think, was just an absolute delicious bit of irony. I think the fact that you picked up on these tweets and you ran with it and your audience gets a chance to see them, I think is wonderful. The fact that Dame Pesos picked it up, I know that he's probably going to put them in one of the Soyless Matt shows.
Oh, yeah.
And I cannot wait for that episode to get flagged because you know what's going to happen.
Everybody loves Dame, by the way. I love Dame Pesos. That dude is hilarious.
He is wonderful.
Hell yeah! But that it's funny you pointed that thing out with Matt. Pot calling the kettle black there, because that seems to be this trend that I'm noticing online, and I don't know if it's a new trend or if it's always been there. But the whole concept of projection, all these people running around pointing the finger at people, calling someone else exactly what they happen to be guilty of, and it's really wild when we find this all out.
Well, I think it all stems back to one person. I think that there is like the godfather or the progenitor of projection on YouTube, which is funny because very coincidentally, to do a very quick shout out through your audience to Golden Triangle Gaming and to Agent Proper, I did a podcast with them both yesterday on Darkside Phil. And I think that he is like the progenitor of projection, calling other people shills, saying I'm the only one and true honest gamer, I'm the most real person on YouTube, and everyone else just does it for the money, but I'm a passionate gamer. And then you just kind of go down that rabbit hole and you realize that he's anything but. And so I don't think that it's a new trend. I just think that it's a more pervasive trend now, only because we have more people on the opposite side of the aisle that are willing to step up, take the time, make a YouTube channel, create some content, make a Twitter account, and go, you know what? We're not going to let you talk this shit anymore without any bit of recompense.
Yeah, that's pretty dead on, man. Well, I'll tell you what, dude, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up here, man. This has been a really good conversation. I appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to me here.
Anytime, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much. And if this subject keeps coming on, I may hit you up in the future. And what I'd really like to do is get you and Mike together, and we can talk about all this at some point. So maybe some point in the future we can pull that off.
Yeah, sounds great. Just hit me up anytime, and I'd be more than happy to do so.
All right, Declan Reed, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Declan, by the way, before I let you go, is there any kind of links or promotion that you want to give out? You want to give a shout out to? Do you have a YouTube or Twitch or Twitter?
I probably am not going to have a Twitch much anymore, given the fact that I'm kind of throwing my hat in the ring, jumping into the fray of making people look stupid on mine, and apparently Twitch is not too much of a fan of that. If Helena Live can get permanently banned for saying that there are only two genders, I'm sure that I'm not long for that world.
Yeah.
So I would have a week ago, but I've realized very recently that I'm really tired of towing the line and being politically correct for the sake of hopefully garnering a new audience there on that platform. So I might wind up doing YouTube or Stream.me somewhere down the line. But if anyone's interested in hearing me wax poetic or talk shit on dumb people, just follow me on Twitter. It's twitter.com/real Declan Reed, Reed being REED, a pun on the fact that I'm an author. So that's it.
All right. Well, I'll be sure to put that link to your Twitter down below in the description box. Declan, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me, man. I hope to talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.